LIEnette today sends Olga some snapshot pictures of the adoption agreement. And I say, well, there's no signatures on this adoption agreement from either parent.
We were just told by the biological family of the child that the parents didn't sign over any adoption papers, only guardianship. So what's that mean for the child?
I can't believe anything that LIEnette says or posts. Tanya, the mother, is finally out of rehab and her halfway house, and is now living on her own. Still nowhere near capable of having a child yet.
LIEnette and Crook scammed and conned their way into getting a child. Now, we don't know how it happened, but we do know the documentation that was filled out on their part was done with lies, not even sharing their own criminal record and history, lying about it. Now, the family members, the biological family members, asked us to call them and contact them. And we want to help any legal way we possibly can. This is part 2 of that conversation with them.
But we are able to ask her now at this point. Olga was able to ask her some questions regarding the adoption. He never signed anything.
So the dad never signed anything at all.
That's what he tells us. So apparently did sign something regarding like guardianship, I guess you could say, and then apparently some waiver. Olga kind of knows more because she's the one that physically speaks to Tanya. So then, of course, LIEnette today sends Olga some snapshot pictures of the adoption agreement. And I say, well, there's no signatures on this adoption agreement from either parent.
From what we can piece together so far, during COVID, where the world was array, LIEnette scams her way into this family's life, who she meets on Facebook, who they don't really know, but LIEnette wants to say she's her best friend, but then LIEnette scams and cons her and alienates her from this child's life. Not only that, she has a lawyer working for her that seems to focus on animals, of all things, animals. This lawyer's expertise is animals, and the documentation isn't there to prove anything that we have found. All my opinion, of course.
How do we have an adoption?
We're losing you again in the most important information.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Now, there we go.
Yeah, I take one step in the, like, I live in a little place in New York, so I get connection. So, there's just no signature from this adoption.
So, what we've heard from her own kids, which, keep in mind, her own kids have isolated themselves from her. They want absolutely nothing to do with her. They call her the momster. Instead of monster, it's the stepmomster. And they want nothing to do with they will not let their kids have anything to do with her. From what we've been told, she has a guardianship that when Harley was born, that Tanya placed LIEnette as the father instead of, I believe you guys said, your brother. And that's what we've been told. Whether it's true or not, we do not know that, whether she has been placed as the father on the birth certificate or not. But what we've been told by them is she has a guardianship. There is no official adoption.
No, so she was not as the father. That's
we can't hear you again. It's breaking in and out. Don't have you at all now. Still don't have you. I hear you now, but you're still breaking in and out.
Yeah. Your connection. Hold on.
There, wherever you're at, stay right there.
No, it'll go out in literally 2 seconds, so hold on.
It's
Give me a second. I was getting it. Give me 1 minute.
I could hear you clear there.
Yeah. Getting closer to my house, so I'm hoping that maybe now you'll be able to hear me. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So, she was not on the birth certificate as listed as the father.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure. Olga, are you still there? I think I lost Olga.
Yeah, I haven't heard Olga's voice in a while here.
I'm going to call her back because this is the part she spoke with that shit crazy over there by you and got some of the information. So give me a second and I'm going to have Olga back. Oh, hold on.
Okay.
Keep in mind, as they're relaying information they got from LIEnette, we don't call her LIEnette because she tells the truth. So don't take anything LIEnette ever posts, ever says, ever does as truth. As a matter of fact, almost 99.9% of it we've already found to be complete and utterly total lies. The woman is stricken with diabetes. I'm not even a doctor, and I can diagnose that.
Hey, do I have everybody? Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, we're here.
All right. So they're asking questions about the adoption paperwork, which you have the answers on the adoption paperwork and what Tanya signed and didn't sign. And they numbers on our list. 36. Is here.
We're here.
08. I apologize. I'm currently or whatever trying to get my son registered for football, so I'm trying to do this and that. So, basically or whatever, Tanya had went with her to, LIEnette, and basically gave her guardianship. They got it notarized at the state, and then Tanya came back to New Jersey, and they kept on hassling her for the paperwork because supposedly or whatever about the medical, in order for them to get insurance for her, they needed the paperwork to be signed. My brother kept on refusing, so did Tanya. They sent paperwork to me. They also sent paperwork to my mom. Nobody was signing it. Then all of a sudden, I don't know, I talked to Tanya the other day. I'm like, did you sign the paperwork? And she's like, yeah, literally they came, got me to sign. I signed the paperwork. Wrote on the side of it, I did not want to sign this paperwork, but like I was put in a stressful situation where I felt like they were forcing me to.
This is a huge legal no-no. In regards to being forced to sign paperwork under distress, that all can be challenged in the court of law, especially knowing that the biological mother wrote in the margins, I do not want to sign this. That even proves the aspect legally she was under distress and being forced to sign. All of it can be challenged.
At the end of the day, she was living in a camper and she's a drug addict.
That's exactly what Harley is living around right now, but she's in a shed with 2 drug addicts.
So really us being in New Jersey,
We cannot hear you again.
Oh, sounds like we
Lost you completely.
Can you hear me?
Yes, there, gotcha.
All right. So,
You are breaking in and out again.
I hate my phone carrier.
There, well, you were clear there for hating them.
Right. So, can you hear me?
Yes.
So we would take Harley in a second here in Jersey. We don't know the Florida laws, and as far as this adoption thing is, and what if it was a legal adoption, if it's not a legal adoption, if it's not a legal adoption, if my brother-in-law did not sign anything, does this give him rights? Like, so we don't really know, being here in Jersey.
Okay. All right.
Hello?
We're still here.
Okay.
Okay, babe.
So I don't.
Right, thank you.
We would love to take Harley.
All right, thank you.
What we can really do from Jersey,
Did you tell me where I could go now? Okay.
and it's driving us crazy to sit here and see all this stuff on Facebook with this crazy lady, and knowing that this baby is. Who knows how serious her medical condition is or isn't, because I can't believe anything that LIEnette says or posts.
And you just hit the nail on the head. You cannot believe anything she says. Anything.
Correct.
Well, the feeding tube that Harley has is I believe that part, because she will post pictures, which is inappropriate, because she's showing her abdomen of a child, and
But I don't think Harley really needed that feeding tube.
She really didn't. Like, she was perfectly fine for the, first 3 years of her life. Then she goes into the hospital because she had RSV. And because of the fact that she threw up once or twice or whatever, she decided to put it in. And that was told to me through her own mouth.
Well, we also believe that LIEnette has Munchausen by proxy, and we know through our own family that her mom was diagnosed. Her family has said that LIEnette has not been diagnosed, but boy, does she show every sign of it.
Mhm.
I'll tell you one thing or whatever, I don't really believe that my niece is as thick as she makes her out to be.
and we believe the same thing. Yeah.
And I believe, because my brother and sister-in-law had 6 kids total. Like, none of them have it.
So she had posted a video blaming John for the feeding tube and the seizures because he brought home that virus.
Right, the RSV.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I even have that video saved. So when we called CPS on her the 3rd time,
Just to be clear, English is Georgia's second language, so context of a message doesn't always come out correctly. Georgia's not stating that we contacted CPS 3 times. She's stating that the 3rd time CPS was called on LIEnette and CROOK was Jeremy Hales. Not that Jeremy Hales contacted them 3 times.
the first time was her biological daughter. The second time were the 2 addicts and alcoholics that she hired to help her with her property. The 3rd time was us.
Me particularly.
Yes. And when we mentioned to CPS about that specific video that she posted on Facebook, she immediately, after CPS went to go visit her, she immediately took that video down along with a bunch of other posts on her Facebook group, and she changed the setting on her Facebook group from public to private.
Oh, wow.
So when we called CPS, she made some minor they did some things, but Harley's still in her care, mainly because of this feeding tube and her making it sound like she's more ill than she really is, so that they can't take her away.
Right.
And
so
there's still open investigation. She's not out of the woods with CPS.
when we
Oh, no, because I hit her up today, and I was just like, you know what? Like, I've been trying to keep it cool because of the fact that I don't want it to be where she doesn't contact me, or I don't know, like, what's, like, little bit that I do know that's going on. I still want to keep that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she contacted me today. She said that CPS or whatever was basically still involved, that she was going to have CPS contact me to make my family aware that Harley is perfectly fine, that she was going to even get doctors and this, that, and the third or whatever to contact me. And And I'm just like, well, I want to know about the adoption because they're talking about online about the adoption, and I wasn't there for it. So, like, could you tell me what's going on with the adoption? Like, do you have paperwork? Did my brother ever even sign the paperwork? Like, so she sent me copies of paperwork for the adoption, but it's only her signatures and where she had went to court, and Tanya's signature is not there, neither is my brother's signature. It's just all about her. They list their names.
Yeah,
but that's about it.
the only thing we've been able to find on court documents was warded guardianship. That's it.
That's it.
And the name
Yeah.
the name that's on the guardianship paperwork is a completely different name other than what she uses.
And we have found 39 different aliases that she uses. Currently, she's using her daughter's name, Michelle Preston. Her legal name is LIEnette Preston.
So Harley is the same first name on this guardian wardship paperwork that we found,
And
but
she's
the middle
changed
name
Harley's name multiple times.
3 times that I found she has changed Harley's name.
Ask yourself a serious question. What need would a parent have to change up a child's name? Now, I understand why LIEnette continues to change her name. And so do you, I'm sure. But why would the child? Who is she trying to hide the child from? It's the only answer I can come up with.
Yeah, I know that she had tried, like, she incorporated, like, my mom's name into her name as well, which where the Swanee comes from. There's like a whole bunch of stuff.
I'm trying to see. Sharon Russian, clerk of the circuit court. But it doesn't even say what county it's Sarasota.
Sarasota County. Yeah. That's where we found the
where-
guardianship paperwork.
That's
Yes.
where this adoption paperwork was filed.
No, put on your feet.
June of 2020. I don't know.
Well, to summarize, I don't think she's safe at all in their care.
I don't believe so either. I'm not even gonna front. Like, at the end of the day, family members of ours have called CPS. There's nothing being done. I can't physically come and just go to Florida or whatever and be like, I don't even know where she lives at. I know it's Otters Creek. I can't physically just go and remove Harley off of the property or whatever. Like,
Well,
I mean,
maybe you guys can fight for guardianship. Maybe your brother can fight for guardianship. If it's
Yeah,
not a
my
legal
brother would be-
adoption,
yeah, right. So, like, my brother wouldn't be able to. They
But-
are not allowed to have custody of none of their kids.
you guys might be able to if you have custody of the other children. I mean, that would be
Right.
the healthiest situation for her, is to be with other
Right.
siblings.
But again, that's where the problem comes out. We live in Jersey. This is happening in Florida.
Correct.
Which means we would have to come to Florida. We both work. You know, we're not wealthy people by any means.
Well, you've got those two who have no money whatsoever, daily are begging, saying we can't even feed ourselves. And if they can't feed themselves, what are they doing with a 3-year-old? If they can't feed a 3-year-old, what are they doing trying to feed turtles? So I would think that a judge would be very much so in favor of you guys.
Right. I just don't know about the Florida laws and how would I even go about it, because if we're calling CPS and CPS is not doing nothing, like, I just don't understand. They'll be all right for now. Like, I just don't even know how to go about it.
I don't know what the first thing to tell you, except the first thing I would do is contact a lawyer for a free consultation in Florida.
Right.
And say,
What are my
we don't
options?
know what to do. How do we go about this?
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be. So I'm a paralegal here in New Jersey. I have my paralegal degree here in Jersey. but Florida law is every state is different with their laws. So, I mean, I have a general idea on how to do things, but the thing is, I don't know if this adoption is really,
take her or whatever and come walk with us.
I don't know if this adoption is really legal, and if it is legal, there's probably not shit we can do.
We have not seen anything that says that it's legal. That doesn't mean that it's not legal. We haven't seen anything. The only thing we've seen is guardianship. And guardianship...
The report she sent us today literally does not show anything really.
Well, you two ladies need to keep in mind, this is a woman in desperation, and what she does every day is lie. So she's not going to tell you the truth about anything. So you have to take everything she says to you and go, she's lying. Now, how do we figure out what the truth is?
Well, what if I give you guys the case number that this supposedly has on it? Since you guys are there in Florida, if I give you the case number, would you be able to go research it?
No, we would only Google it the same way you would.
Okay. See, here in Jersey, we could go to the court, literally, and I could put in the number in the court. Like, the court has computers that you could go onto inside the courthouse, and you could put in the number, the case number, and it'll bring you up anything.
And we're not in Florida right now. We're in Ohio. We live between two states.
Gotcha.
So that'd be another issue, is we're not actually there.
Understand. And does she ever try to come across the street to y'all property?
Well,
She used to, but ever since the election,
we've never let her on our property.
Right.
She's only come up to the gate and dropped stuff at the gate. We've never, ever let them on our property.
correct.
We have never gotten a good feeling or vibe about them, or ever had any trust to allow them to ever be anywhere on our properties.
Mm.
So John just was on my property a couple weeks ago and antagonizing, but we are filing restraining orders, currently are going through the court system right now, and we'll have a temporary restraining order, and then there'll be a hearing on her and a hearing on him. And that restraining order will come from the state of Ohio. So they'll be even further limited in what they can do.
Yeah, I seen that in your video that you're trying to get it there in Ohio.
Yes.
And they could transfer it over to Florida for when you go there.
That's in the system right now.
Just a reminder, this conversation was recorded in 2023, before George and I went to Florida for the winter. And we were already in the process for the civil protection orders. As of this day, right now, we have the civil protection orders. Not that Florida's done anything to actually enforce them illegally, because state law and federal law mandates that they enforce them.
Okay. Oh my God. So how come she's not living in the camper and is living in a shed? Like, do you guys know why?
Nobody knows the answers to that.
Based on what I'm reading online, is CPS made them do that arrangement to keep them apart because they don't get along.
Because they're abusive.
John is verbally and emotionally abusive towards her, which obviously the child hears it because the child's with her 24/7.
According to her.
Harley's on the tablet all day long, so that's how she takes care of herself. And then she, based on what LIEnette's posted online, is that there's more space in the shed, and all of Harley's toys are there, and there's a hammock in there, and there's a refrigerator in there, and a microwave in there.
No AC.
There's no AC.
Harley has been there in the worst heat of the summer in Florida's seen in so long. Heat indexes, temperatures were 110, 114. Heat indexes, highest one I think I saw was 146. That's the feel.
Yeah.
Now you put yourself in a shed, and it's even more.
Right. There's
My
no...
sister lives in Tampa, so I'm kind of aware of some things of Florida.
And then John's in the camper because he has some type of infection with his knee, and she doesn't want that infection exposed to Harley because, according to her, Harley has this metabolic life-threatening disorder and anything can kill her. And she posted this morning that Harley was on her way to the emergency room because I guess she had spiked a temperature. I don't know if you saw that.
I did see that. I called my sister-in-law, like, you see, Charlie's on her way to the ER.
So that's the reason why they're separated, because CPS told them to stay separated, and because she believes that there's more space in the shed versus in the camper.
I've never heard of CPS though in all my years of living, and I'm damn near 50, that they allow a woman to live in a fucking shed with a kid.
That's illegal. You cannot live in a shed in the entire state of Florida. Why is CPS not doing something?
Especially since there's no indoor plumbing. Where's she going to wash her hands?
No AC.
There's no AC.
This is supposed to be a child with life-threatening disease.
Harley, how is this child getting a bath?
Well,
so that shocks us too. And when we were down there in August, every time we drove past the property, the door to the shed was wide open. So that explains there is no AC in the shed. They were using just fans, and it was hot.
So they have a watering trough that she was posting earlier, past couple weeks. That she was saying.
When we go camping out in the middle of the woods.
Exactly. You don't live like that.
That shit with a cord battery when we go camping out in the woods.
So she's saying that's her outdoor bathroom, and she was saying, "Oh, it's so relaxing to take a bath." And then we called her out on it and said that's illegal in the state of Florida. Now she's saying that's where she bathes the tortoises and turtles.
I've seen that. Yep, I've seen that.
So whatever it is,
her story is constantly changing.
It's a lie. Whatever comes out of her mouth is a lie. Harley's in an abusive situation,
environment,
very toxic,
and those
and
two
unclean.
Have no business raising this child, considering that they're in their 60s. They're both physically disabled. They're both financially disabled. Not to mention they're both mentally unstable, and it's very unhealthy.
This child's grandmother that literally let this fucking lunatic have this kid. Like, you don't let somebody you meet on Facebook for a matter of 3 months have a fucking baby. Like,
yeah, correct.
I want to go to Florida and smack it out of this woman, because what the fuck were you thinking?
Mm-hmm. And if you've seen on her post, LIEnette will say that it was her best friend that asked her to take her daughter's baby.
Yeah, her best friend that she literally, as soon as she got custody, packed up and moved away from, and because she didn't want Harley calling this woman grandma.
That is 100% MO of LIEnette.
Mm-hmm. She's been known, according to her biological kids and her ex-stepchildren, LIEnette's known to steal other people's kids. She's been trying for years, over 30 years, to steal other people's children.
Yeah, well, since she got lucky on this one, because my brother-in-law's mother-in-law's a idiot. Like, you
yeah, we personally don't believe
about the background of this woman. She could have been a monster herself. She could have been a serial killer.
You hear frustration, and I agree with it. Who in their right mind thinks they know somebody that they've been talking with in some kind of group on Facebook? You don't. And definitely not to give a newborn child to, especially one with special needs. This story is insane from the get-go.
When I also called CPS when she posted the video of John not wearing any underwear and having his leg elevated and wearing these shorts, and that she's worried about him exposing himself to Harley and how Harley straddles him. So that made me very uncomfortable. So I myself called CPS.
Yeah, and you rightfully did.
And I figured I'm far away. I can't go there and physically see what the fuck's going on. Excuse my language. So I sent them there, and I feel like nothing was done.
You are correct. There's been very little done, but here's the one shining light that since we've started exposing all the dangers and the abuse they've had to be on their best behavior, and CPS has a plan for them, and they have deadlines for things they have to do. If it wasn't for us to start showing all of this, none of these things would have happened in a positive direction for Harley. So at a bare minimum, you've got some positive things happening because there's accountability with an open case with CPS now.
Yeah, still not enough.
Oh, I agree with you. 100% it's not enough.
So my understanding is CPS has yet to take Harley from their care because of a couple things. Because the shed has electricity and because it has fans in it or AC. She lied and said AC, but there's no AC unit. We drive past their property all the time.
And
you don't see the AC unit hanging out of the window of the shed.
And they're going to lose electricity at the end of October. So their extension for their building permit ends in October. Once that ends, electricity gets cut off. They have no money to finish the home they're supposed to be building.
And then the other reason why they haven't removed Harley out of their care is because of her special needs having this feeding tube. Trying to place a special needs child into foster care could lead to more damages or health damages potentially.
I told CPS when I called it in, like, she has family here in New Jersey that would take her in a second if it came to it. Like, if this woman is not fit to have her, we would take her in New Jersey regardless of what medical condition she has. We would deal with it.
Mm-hmm. We would love to see that. I think Harley deserves to be with her biological siblings versus being isolated with two adults and no kids to play with.
Two toxic adults.
Yeah.
These two unfit, toxic adults.
I blame this on the grandmother that you didn't know this woman from Adam and you let her have a baby. Like, it just blows my mind. Like, where was your common fucking sense?
Well, we believe, and this has been confirmed by the biological children of LIEnette, is that she conned this woman into taking her. It was all to con her to steal the baby because she's been trying to get a baby for the last 30 some years.
But in the same token, this was a grown-ass woman that raised children of her own. Needless to say, they turned out like shit. And now she's raising two of Harley's siblings, the oldest two children, and you just let some stranger have a baby.
Yeah.
You gave some stranger your grandchild.
Very odd. Extremely odd. So I think the route that you guys go is you try and contact a lawyer in Florida and say, hey, do you have free consultations? Let's talk about this. What are our options? Where do we go? And I would think if it's just a guardianship, that could be challenged. I don't know 100% for sure, but I think that would be able to be challenged by you, the family members, especially with open CPS cases, especially with the circumstances where they continue to cry and proclaim that they don't even have money to feed themselves. Why do they have a child? And if they delete everything, if they delete every video, if they delete everything they post on Facebook, we have screenshots of it all. So we can always provide it with you again. Provide it to you, for you, if needed.
I definitely will be looking, I'm going to Google some lawyers. It's definitely got to be some type of family lawyer. I think also that may specialize in adoption cases because I don't know if this was a legitimate adoption or if it's not. Secondly, even if it was legitimate adoption, my brother-in-law never signed to say, yes, you can have my child. And apparently, Tanya says she wrote on the paperwork that she did not want to sign this paperwork, so she was under the influence of drugs, which I think would play a part.
You should be able to challenge all of it.
Yeah.
I would think. So, I guess I'm going to have to just reach out to a lawyer in Florida and start there and see what I can come up with.
Yeah,
well,
keep us posted.
Why don't you guys reach out and then let us know what's going on and then let us know how we can help that process with information.
Yeah, I definitely will. And so how often do you guys go back to Florida?
We'll go back in October for the winter.
Okay.
We'll be there from October up until the first week of May of next year. And then if we do go back to Florida between now and October, it'll be due to the hurricane. If there's any damages, then we need to take care of things.
Right. When's that supposed to hit? Is that supposed to hit tonight?
Wednesday
morning.
Wednesday.
Did you see how she posted they're heading to a hotel?
No.
She posted they're going to be staying in a hotel to evacuate.
I don't know. Just everything about this woman has rubbed me the wrong way.
Yes.
If you were to meet her in person, the very first thing you would think is, what in the world did I just meet?
Every time I've only been.
Other thing is, you talked about that little tent thing. When I called CPS, I also said I had an issue with this tent thing, and I get keeping a kid confined. I am all for keeping a kid confined. My thing is, you say she has this life-altering illness that she can't be around kids or whatever, but yet you can put her at your town hall meeting stuff to be greeted by all these people.
Yeah. And then she took her.
That doesn't affect her life-altering disease.
And then she took her to the Watermelon Festival with everybody there in Chiefland. She's taking her to a water park where other kids are touching things, dirty water. She's taking her to the flea market. Listen, my strongest encouragement to you is do not put any faith in anything that woman says. You need to go in with the presumption that she's lying to you, and everything she posts is a lie.
Well, that's definitely that's been my presumption of her, and that's why finally yesterday I was like, I said she's always posting the shirt and da-da-da-da. I said, I really just need to sit down and take a couple of minutes and try to watch this stuff. So I got off of work early yesterday, so I was like, and my sister-in-law, actually I didn't work yesterday, it was Sunday, my sister-in-law came to get the baby, the sibling of Harley, and while she was here, and all my kids, and her half-brother, who's 20, I pushed play, and then everybody was like, what the hell is going on out there? And then, of course, her brother, he's 20, her half-brother, which lives with me, was like, yo, what is going on with my half-sister over there? Like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know either, honestly. I don't know. I wish I had an answer. I don't know, though.
Well, you guys keep digging into it and then let us know how we can help you. We got to go because we've got another appointment, but we'll do what we can to help.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. We'll talk to you guys later.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I have no doubt you're going to want to help as well. And we'll continue to let you know how you can. But before that, I just picked up the hearings from Ohio court. Yep. Probably roughly 4 hours of some of the funniest one-liners that LIEnette and Crook have ever spoken. To be continued.